welcome back to a chat with Matt. This is being recorded on early Sunday, so I'm definitely not awake. Um, but once again, I'm joined by the one, the only, the bearded wonder, the Joe Rogan of Ontario. TJ, what
Joe
up,
Rogan
dude?
of Ontario.
That's what you
What's
said.
up, buddy? Well, that's what someone said to me. And now I joke about it, but
The Joe
what's
Rogan of
up, buddy?
Ontario. Oh,
Yes.
just living, breathing, trying to survive, as
Just
we
living
all
the
are.
dream.
Yeah, something like that.
Enjoying some nice tea on this Sunday
Mm.
morning. I appreciate you doing this early with me so we can make it work because I
Well, of course,
had a busy
I'm
day.
willing to do this shit anytime. I just like talking to people. TJ, what's been going on? We talked about a few months back.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to think when it was now. Time has moved so quickly the last month and a half or 2 months.
Legit,
I
yeah,
think it was 2 months ago,
yeah,
maybe,
something like
give
that.
or take, somewhere around there. And since then, I mean, probably the biggest thing is the fact that as of yesterday, when you guys are hearing this on February 4th, I had my 5 year anniversary of the Hodder show, which is very exciting. And I had a huge episode I dropped on that. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm realizing there is a little thing on my webcam. I'm not sure if it's showing up. I just, so it was like I think I spit. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay.
It's kind.
But yeah, no. So I had this huge episode that I've been working on for the last like 3-4 weeks. I had multiple people on. I think I had like 12 people, 13 people on
Jesus.
for like 10 to 20 to 30-minute segments. So it's a very long episode, but there is some very, very great content in that. For if you're someone who's a podcaster and you're interested in like a little bit behind the scenes things, I strongly suggest you go check it out. But also if you like fun conversations, man, it's great. And I got to reconnect with some people I hadn't talked to in a while. And you can see it like while we're recording, especially specifically one person who I haven't talked to in a while. Shouts to my boy Anthony. I hadn't talked to him in a while, and we chatted for like 3 hours. Not like you guys aren't going to hear the full 3 hour chat on that, but we talked for like 3 hours, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess we have to record this segment I want to do. So it was just me basically thanking everybody who has supported the show and having people on who were important in the history of the Hodder show. Because at the end of the day, and I say this very humbly because I don't think I'm a big deal or anything, but even though I don't have thousands and hundreds and thousands of downloads and I don't make a ton of money or any of that kind of stuff, over the last 5 years, I've been consistently doing this aside from a 2 month period when I was moving and then like a couple weeks here and there. For 5 years, I've been putting out content, and I've basically forced myself to understand that there is value in that. And I need to be grateful for that. And I need to be thankful for the fact that I've been doing it this long and I've had the support I've had. So, especially doing this episode, it was mainly for me, if I'm being honest. It was because I wanted to talk to all these people. I wanted all these people in a collection of content, basically, so I could sit and watch it and really look back and appreciate that, hey man, like look at where I started. My old producer and I talk on it about how when I started this podcast, I literally was, recording on an old iPhone and in 10-minute long segments where I do an hour-long podcast, to now I have this other setup. So it's just crazy, and it's been really fun, and it's been crazy, man. It's been a really interesting last week. A lot of people have been reaching out saying, hey, like, I can't believe you've been doing this for 5 years. Holy cow. Like, and there's some people, oh, you're still doing it? Like, oh, wow. Like it's, so
People are
it's,
saying that to me now. I haven't
fun.
even done mine for a year yet.
Well, that's the funny thing about you too, though, man. Like, it feels like you've been doing yours longer. Like the fact that you
I
haven't
think
even
it's
been doing
just
it a
because
year
I
is
was putting out
crazy.
so many episodes in the beginning.
Yeah. That's the thing too, right? Like that's like I had done the same thing, right? Like was doing 2 episodes a week for the first 100 episodes, and like you get so much content so quickly that I think back and it's like some people are like, oh, like you've been doing it for 5 years and you're only on episode like 280 or whatever, and I'm like, well, it's because I did so much in the beginning that I kind of started to slow down a little bit as far as how much content I was releasing within a week. So it's kind of slowed down, but that's what's funny about you. Like you're doing just the weekly stuff, but you have this big jump start as well, right?
A bit, yeah. But I also would like to point out that if I make it to my 5-year anniversary, I'm definitely not going to put as much effort in as TJ is. And we were talking before this about how I just don't give a shit. I'm doing this because I just like talking to people and it's easy to record.
That's it, right? And I mean, at the end of the day, that's why I do what I do too, right? Like I do it because it's fun. I do it because I love doing it. If I was doing it to get famous or to make money or whatever, a couple people have accused me of in the past, I didn't do a very good job because, hey, I'm still here, just doing my thing and doing it for the love of it, man. So
That's the game, man. That's the game. Where do you think podcasting is going to go? Because like we're getting to a point now. We were talking about this before we started recording, and like people are like absorbing and taking in more long form content, and people are putting out like Rogan's putting out 2 to 4 hour episodes, and like all
twice
this
a
other
week,
shit twice, multiple times a week, and it's like, where do you think this is all going to go? Like, I think it's just going to get crazier. Like, but that also comes with the possibility of like people over flooding the market with more podcasts and having like almost kind of like how an artist in Toronto has to make as much noise as possible to stand out in the crowd of like the shit because there's so many like not great bands.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, I think you're hitting the nail on the head as far as, especially with this past year and a half and the time we're still in right now. I mean, I can speak for myself. There's for 3 people in my personal life who have started podcasts, and they kind of thought about it before, but now it's like, well, now I have no excuse, right? They have all this free time, so they're like, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. And because of that, I mean, fortunately, the people I know, they actually have really great content, and it's like, oh shoot, like more, because at the end of the day, as much as I believe in supporting all podcasts and everyone should band together, much like in the music scene, right? Like everyone wants to support everyone. At the same time, if you're doing, say, a music interview podcast and I'm doing a music interview podcast, well, technically we're in competition in a way, right? Some people would see it that way. I kind of do and I kind of don't. Like I think what I do is different enough that like I don't do interviews, right? Like I do what I do. I just bullshit with people. But so when someone comes out who does like a professional interview type thing, I'm like, that's cool because it's very different from what I do, right? And kind of like the same thing with you. Like you kind of mix both, right? Where you'll have like these cool professional questions, but then also you're just hanging out with someone and having a chat. But if someone comes out and they're very like structured and professional, that's cool to see. But it is still different enough for us. But I think because so many people have been starting podcasts and so many people are getting into streaming and doing YouTube videos and stuff, we are going to see a bit of an oversaturation in the podcast world, specifically because podcasts are so easy to do, especially just audio podcasts. So we're probably going to see that for a little while. The reality is, and I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way, but for me, over the last 5 years, I have seen so many podcasts come and go. And it always bums me out when that happens because like I want everyone to keep at it and keep doing it. But we're probably going to see a huge surge of podcasts over this next year. It's going to be like, hey guys, it's Tommy's Toga Hour. Oh, this podcast, I talk about togas. Cool. That was the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life, but I would too, right? That's actually, yeah. I just want to know what he talks about on Toga Hour, right? But like, and the thing is Tommy's Toga Hour going to last 5 years?
I hope so.
I mean, I personally hope it does. Listen, if there's a Tommy out there,
get that Spotify exclusive deal.
Tommy's Toga Hour.
Tommy Toga Hour, Spotify exclusive.
Join Joe Rogan, right, in the ranks.
Exactly.
But like, we're probably going to see that. That's reality. But then it's going to taper off, right, as it always does. And people like who have consistency with their podcast and put a lot of time and effort into their podcast, again, like you said, they might need to kind of do something to make a little bit more noise so they can stand out a little bit more, right? That's just reality, right?
Yeah, where's the cutoff point? Because like some of these people, like it's like you and I both started the same way, where it's kind of like we're uploading shit ton of content all at once, and then like we slowly like wind it back to a
Mhm.
format in which we release things the way we want. Like I do once a week. I kind of want to try twice a week because you saw my schedule recently. Like I'm booked pretty fucking solid for most of the year
Yeah.
already, and it's like I'm still getting a bunch of requests, and I'm like I feel bad because I want to host some more people, but I don't know. But where is the cutoff? Because like we're both like I'm this is gonna be 50 something. I've lost track at this point.
50-ish.
50-ish and a half. But yeah, where's that cutoff point? Do you see people starting to fall off?
Well, for me, I mean, I can speak for myself personally for a second. When my spinoff podcast I did for a little while there, Two Guys in a Game, it's a gaming podcast. I did that with a co-host, and in doing that with a co-host, obviously, when you have two schedules to think about aside from just one, that can make things a lot harder. So, for a lot of other podcasters, one show in particular that was a great show I used to listen to all the time, they had three hosts, right? And that's three you have to combat. So, with some people, I find it'll happen a lot. Like for me, we got about a year in. We did 50 episodes. We did 49 episodes consistently straight through without missing too much time. But once we got, or I'd say around like episode 41, 42, 43, somewhere in that ballpark. So maybe let's say about 6, 7 months, give or take. About 40 weeks, however you want to say. Um, excuse me. What I think starts to happen around that time is for some people, it starts to become work. Because when you do something that long consistently, it becomes work. That's just reality. And I know for me personally, it was getting harder and harder to schedule. It was becoming work because just getting the podcast scheduled with my co-host was just, it was going to be a nightmare. So for us, it was about that time frame. And like I said a second ago, for some people, I mean, that one show I was talking about with the three hosts, they got like 18 episodes in, I think. And that was it.
Wow.
And that's pretty consistent. Like the only thing that kept me going with my other show was the fact that I was still doing the Hodder show weekly and I was doing another podcast and editing another podcast. So I said to my buddy, I'm like, dude, like, I don't care. I'm doing this anyway. Like, I'm in it 100%. But not saying that he wasn't, but with some people, you see it happen where they'll start out this podcast and they'll put out 3 or 4 episodes like within like a couple weeks. And anytime that happens, for the most part, those shows don't last, in my experience anyway, because they burn the candle at both ends for too quickly. Next thing you know, they're at episode 18 to 20, and they're like, well, why am I not famous yet? I'm like, dudes, I've had this conversation more than once with people where I'll start chatting with a new podcast and they'll say like, oh, hey man, like when did you make it? I haven't. Like, look around, bro. Like, and I say to them, like, I'm always try to be super nice and polite about it because I want everyone to keep doing this and be successful. But I say, look, man, if you're in it for that, just stop doing it now. And I say that respectfully, but just if you're doing this because you want to be famous and, you know, make money, you're just not. The reality of getting to that next level for an indie podcaster is very small. So it can happen, just like an indie band. It can happen. And I hope it happens for everybody. Let me be very clear. But, and I hope this isn't coming off too negative, but like just the reality is there is a consistency you have to have with podcasts and with any content creation. It's consistency. It's, you know, producing as great content as you can. But the number one thing for me is consistency. If I start watching a streamer and they stream twice a week for a month and then just stop and then jump on once in a while, sorry guys, I'm really busy, which is fine, but just, I'm not going to wait around for you to release content when there's tens of thousands of other people out there who are doing it daily. Right? Like it's just, and podcasts are the same thing. If I listen to a podcast and oh, they got 10 or 12 great episodes. Oh, we're going to miss a week. Oh, whatever. It happens. At the end of the day, it's free entertainment, right? So you can't bitch or complain too much. But then, oh, we're going to miss another week. Oh, that sucks. Okay, here's an episode. Awesome. Month and a half later, hey guys, here's a new episode. And after that happens 3 or 4 times, it's like, okay, this just, you have to have consistency. And I think that with a lot of shows that I've seen where they put everything into it for the first month and a half to 2 months and then just fade out. A lot of them, I don't know if it's just like they think that, oh, well, this article said that if I upload all my stuff on iTunes right away, I'm going to be on the iTunes charts and or Apple charts or whatever the hell they call it now. Showing my age with that. And it is like, that's not going to happen. And other things can happen. Obviously too, things can change, work can change, whatever. But for me, like, if you really, really, really want to do this, you'll figure it out. Honestly, I truly believe that because I have. And if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't be doing it. It's that simple. So hopefully that answers the question you were looking for. But
no, it does. And what you nailed there is it's the consistency, because the issue, especially which I've noticed with social media and like platforms like TikTok, in which the goal is to make someone get 1 million followers and like as quickly as possible, it kind of distorts the perception of actually grinding and building something out and being consistent. Because and that's what I noticed with a lot of bands as well, is like the bands that are trying just to focus on getting that record deal as quickly as possible, getting signed to an agency as quick as possible, getting a management deal, whatever it is. The ones that are just trying to feed for success. And also, and something you mentioned earlier was like the competing aspect, because like I definitely see where you're coming from on that. Like for me, I used to think like that a lot, like with when I was doing music more consistently back in the day, not with what I'm doing soon, but like it was more of people, especially people that I had in my life, they were very competitive and like trying to like one up myself or one up another person in the same kind of thing. But I realized that with music especially, it's and I mentioned this in the last episode, like I with Kurt, I just don't view music as a competition anymore. Like I kind of just focus on what I'm doing as opposed to like trying to copy someone else or like try to one up someone else. Because like, and the same with this podcast, like this podcast is just something that, one, it allows me, or it forces me to be social. I don't say allow, it forces me, because generally I'm
it
not a
allows
social.
me to speak with people.
It allows me to speak with people, and it also forces me into social scenarios in which I actually have to talk to people and gain social skills, because like I hate people in general. But like it's more of an opportunity just to grow and connect and like learn things, because I hate when people, especially young bands and young artists, are trying to just like one up each other, and just as opposed to focusing on the content, because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
content is king. And if you're not working on your craft, and if you're not working on anything, and if you've been an avid listener of this podcast specifically, you will understand that when I've talked to a bunch of these different, especially the legacy industry people that have been in the game for like 15 years up,
Yeah.
it's all about the song. The song is what matters. And the same thing with the podcast, it's the conversations that matter. Like it's not how many followers or how many likes or how many things like that, or how many plays. Like that shit really doesn't matter. Like I just hit 400 plays on the Anchor app, which is sick. I was happy about that.
That's
Like,
awesome, man. Congrats.
and even with the music project I have coming up, like legit, the only goal I have is to hit 1,000 plays. That's it. I don't even have a timeline for it. I'm like, I just like have that song hit 1,000 plays that I have coming out in a
Happens. You'll
few
be.
months.
Well, this was fun.
Say that again. You cut out a bit. Oh.
Yeah, what the hell? It's plugged in. I don't know what's going on with my internet today.
It's
Sorry.
Sunday. It's a lazy day.
I guess so. Fuck. What the hell did I say? I was just to say, like, you're just doing it for fun, right? Like that's at the end of the day.
Yeah, like the music thing is just something that like I've been writing more, specific song. I don't know. This pandemic has made me a lot more introspective, and it's made me think about things in a different way, and also hasn't changed my writing style. So like I sent you the song that I'm going to be putting out in the next few months,
Yes.
and I it's definitely different from past material, like from the metal band days. Like it's definitely just a
I'll
different
say, but it's awesome.
bit of a 180. But yeah, it's just I'm putting it out for fun. I'm putting it out, and that's why like with the Instagram page that I'm developing right now for the music, I'm just doing like random covers, literally for fun, and also just to help hone and craft and continue developing my musicianship.
Well, and it's funny, just when you said that, I just remembered an Earthbound song I used to love. I can literally picture the chorus of it.
Which one was
It
it?
was Hell Girl.
Oh,
Was
God.
the title. No, man, I love that tune. I don't know, but it's funny. And like, I always look forward to your post too, by the way, like anytime you put up a little cover or anything. And that's something that you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, and you scroll through and look through videos and stuff like that. Because Instagram is basically just slowly becoming TikTok. Let's be serious. That's
Instagram
what's
Reels.
happening. Oh, dude, it's just getting brutal.
I
But
know.
for someone like yourself, if one person sees you doing a fun cover or something and they go, oh, this is cool, and they put it up on their thing or whatever, or they use that sound to make a video or something like that, next thing you know, Matthew Lane's a freaking TikTok star.
Fuck
He
that.
didn't even do anything.
Fuck that. I have no interest in that kind of shit. Like even for the music shit. I was talking to my girlfriend about this. Like my goal, legitimately, like long term for a music project would be something I can do casually, in which like if I was able to do like a small run of tour dates, hitting specific markets, doing like 200 to 300 cap venues and selling those out, I'd be content. I don't want anything more than that. I don't want to be an arena act. That just sounds stressful.
Yeah, no, screw that. I always said to my buddy, like, all I want with music for myself, even like I was like, hey, I want to just release something. And that's it. I don't want anything else. I don't want to play shows. I don't want any of that, So sometimes that's for people, just putting it out there. If you're able to have a little run of shows or something, I mean, that would be cool to see, right? Like it would just be fun. At the end of the day, that's what it's supposed to be. So
Yeah, and like for me also, I'm putting out 2 singles, possibly 3 this year. But like the other thing I'm working on is my girlfriend and we're working on a project where she's singing and I'm doing the music behind it, and we're gonna do a campaign, and we're gonna drop an EP this year, probably at the end of the year.
Okay.
So like that's kind of also been taking up a lot of my time in a good way, because she's got a phenomenal voice, and she writes like a motherfucker. She's a way better writer than me. I'm very simple with my shit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just focusing on doing shit for fun. Like I hate wanting to do things for certain things, because when you get to those things, you're setting yourself up for expectation, and you're hitting certain marks, and you're wanting to go for certain things, and then you have that disappointment and that like, oh fuck this, and that's when you see all those bands start dropping off after 6 months, or start dropping off after one EP, or start dropping off podcasts after like 20 episodes or whatever it is, because I'm not famous yet. I'm like, then don't be famous, dude. Fame sounds like a pain in the ass. Why would you want to be famous?
Honestly, like, especially if you're someone who, like, if you want to be famous and stuff, cool, go be famous. Like,
Why?
but it's
Just
like,
why? What's the point?
I wouldn't want to be famous. Screw that. I would mind being like a D-list celebrity, like walking down the street, and like maybe once a year, one person's like, oh my God, you're Tommy from Tommy's Toga podcast.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you know what?
it's
Tommy
just
deserves it. Tommy deserves
Tommy,
it, though.
shouts to Tommy, man. He's next level.
How
Man.
funny would it be if there's actually a Tommy's Toga?
I'm actually gonna look it up right now. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
please
lie
look
to you.
that up, because
I better look it up just in case there is. So I'll give him a shout.
I'm DMing him like right after I'm booking him, because I just need to have that conversation.
I just like tune in and not talk.
Tommy, we were talking about you the whole time.
I just want to fly on the wall.
Talk about togas for an hour.
Toga. Joke with Tom podcast is he doesn't talk about this. That's the joke, right?
Yes.
Okay, it just auto-corrected. So
auto-corrected to what?
Like when I typed in Tommy's Toga, it corrected. It put podcast on the end.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Sorry, guys, my internet's really slow today. Okay, nah. There's Tommy's yoga podcast. Wait,
That's
hang on.
close. That's close. But
The
we're looking for
Recovery
Toga.
Power Hour podcast. Yoga podcast. Okay, no, it doesn't exist.
They
so.
think you misspelled yoga.
Yeah, they think I misspelled yoga. No, it's toga. But yeah, so Tommy's Toga Hour doesn't exist. But
well, if there's a Tommy listening, your time's come.
I'll and I'll help you put it together and everything.
I will promote the shit out of that.
We'll put a team together and we'll just MT Media Productions and we'll push it. It'll be great.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna take our first music break right now. I know I haven't done music breaks in the past, like for a couple of the episodes recently, but that's just because I don't know, when certain people are talking like extensively, especially like guys like Jeff and Kurt, I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna let them talk and just
me.
Fascinated.
Yeah, let's hear some good music. That'd be much better than me.
No, I could listen to you talk for hours, but we're gonna do something else later, which I'm not gonna say at the moment. Ooh, ominous.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna take a music break right now and hear words from our sponsor, Anchor, and then we'll be right back for some more conversation. We'll see you guys in a few.
So much better. I know it's never true. Your love for me will never be the same. But then I overthink, so I say, my sweet girl, come a little closer. Even though I'm just another loser, I know you have very few intentions, so you come a little closer.
All right, welcome back. Thank you to Anchor for once again sponsoring the podcast. Sadly, Tommy's Toga Party does not exist.
Tommy's Toga Party will be a podcast. I will
that
make it happen.
Has to be. It's so perfect. But what would it be about? Would it be about like Greek mythology or the specific history of togas? Because I feel like you'd run out of shit pretty quick.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be about togas at all. That's just a name, right?
I feel like it'd be like a fraternity drinking podcast.
Okay.
Like
so
cold ones, except with douchey fraternity guys.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to find a Tommy. Right. and I'm going to send him to like frat houses and stuff and have him interview people. And that's going to be
that would actually be a
podcast.
good.
I'm going to send him.
podcast.
I'm going to send him with a little Zoom H1N1. I'm going to have him put it in between them.
Isn't that a disease? H1N1.
Oh, maybe. It's also the name of the handy recorder. H1N1.
I don't know if Zoom did that before or after, but if it was after,
Yeah.
that's in poor taste.
H1N1. Actually, it's just H1N
Oh,
technically.
they're clear.
So they're
It's that-
fine.
it's
then.
that
Sorry, that's
second
just
one.
me. That's just me adding a number.
It's that second one that would have fucked them up.
Yeah, it's a little close though. It's a little close. No, and then like I'll send them with like a shitty like work like camera, and that's it. That's the podcast. It'd just be like him sitting there,
Send him with a potato of a camera.
a potato.
Like, what is it, 240p or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Just really shitty, and just have him like just talk with who's that? Oh shit, who's what guy who fun videos? Oh no, god, he does like the frat boy stuff. Skinner, like
Oh, fuck. I know. who
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about.
Oh,
What's his
no.
name? Oh, you're going to.
what are you doing, dude? I can't remember like anything of it right now, but like I would just have him be like, find like the worst frat boys you can possibly find
Yeah.
and just interview. Like, don't interview them all together, just one-on-one in like a room. Just like, all right,
All
man.
of
So
them.
like, but like ask them like really serious questions.
What is the meaning of life?
But like, all right, so we're here with Brad. Step, dude.
Brad and Skip.
Yeah, he just finished chugging a 40 through his butthole. Like just
Butt chug.
he just finished doing a butt chug. Like, so Brad, I'm curious for you, like it asks like this the most like I'm not very smart, so like I can't think of like a really
Like a deep philosophical
yeah,
question or
like
something like that.
super like not just like what's the meaning of life, but like something like super philosophical. He'd just be like, what, dude? Like
What?
what? Like just see what happens. I don't know. I think that'd be funny.
Did you see the McGregor fight?
I did not, but I saw the aftermath of it.
What'd you think about that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not surprised he lost because I think that Connor's time is probably
Spend too much time on the yacht?
Yeah, I think he's just. I mean, what does he have left to prove? Even
Nothing.
right, like all great fighters, eventually they're gonna lose one.
I think
Once
it
you
was
lose
after
one-
the Mayweather fight that he
Yeah,
started
oh.
declining.
He started when that buildup of that fight was just him taking over that one press conference. Well,
Yep.
taking over the press conference
Wink. Yeah.
and him talking mad shit about the Mayweathers. That whole thing was just
Bullshit.
he's never gonna. Well, I mean, it was a pro wrestling angle, right?
Yeah,
that's the whole
exactly.
thing. I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, so like, Conor McGregor as a whole is a professional wrestler who happens to be an MMA fighter.
Oh, I hope he doesn't go to the WWE.
You know what, man? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they would have him because he's talked way too much shit about pro wrestling.
Oh,
Like-
true.
Not stuff you usually don't like. Just people are like, oh, so like you must have been a big pro wrestling fan because like you're literally fucking Ric Flair from the '80s, and he's just like, oh, fucking whatever he said. I can't do an Irish accent, but and he would talk shit about like Ric Flair and like all these legendary guys, and it's like, what? Like, I'm not gonna get into it because people are gonna be like, what?
That'd be an
I was about to
interesting
say
kind
some
of twist, though. Kind of follow Ronda Rousey's route. Do MMA,
Yeah.
go do a Fast and Furious movie, and then go
Then go to
to WWE.
And ruin the first ever Royal Rumble. But whatever, we're not gonna talk about that. But like, it's just like, I don't know. He would be a fantastic heel. Like he would be like a really good heel because he's legit.
Yeah.
And even though he lost and he got knocked out or whatever the hell happened, I just saw the pictures of him laying on the ground. So I'm like, oh shit. I didn't think he was gonna get knocked out. Did he fully get knocked out or was it like up the fight?
I think that I'm not sure if he got fully knocked. He definitely got like
He got
dazed as-
leveled. I mean, I
Yeah, he
saw
got level as fuck.
It was
Poirier
that one
destroyed him.
shot right to like he hit him like right in the forehead. Down he went.
The thing is, I was gonna buy the fight, but then I'm like, probably not, because it just would have made me want to put money on it, and I would have been the McGregor dick rider, and like,
Yeah,
put
you
it-
would have. You thought he was gonna win.
of course.
Yeah.
Most people did, but then like it's because I didn't know much about Poirier, but like the second I started learning about him, I'm like, I don't like McGregor's odds.
I find a lot of like, I know nothing about MMA. Like really, not even a casual watcher, but like when you look at certain guys who like when they have a second fight and the other guy's like coming in going like, I'm not going to lose again. I can't. Like he couldn't. What was the guy's name? Poirier?
Yeah, Dustin
Like,
Poirier.
if he lost this fight, like his most, from what I know of him, that was his most highlight, like his biggest fight he's ever had, right?
Yeah.
So like, you lose 2 of your biggest fights in your career. Where do you go from there? It's like that kid, God bless him, the kid who fought CM Punk.
Oh God.
Like, he came in. I mean, everyone knew CM Punk was going to lose. Let's be serious. Like, you know.
Yeah, that was kind of set up from the beginning.
Yeah. But this kid who has as much experience as CM Punk,
Yeah.
you know, he was like, you know, I love him, and like, okay, this is the guy you're going to fight. And if let's just say hypothetically here for a second, CM Punk got one really lucky shot, because in a fight,
You never know.
anyone can really knock out anyone on any given day, given the right amount of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say he got one lucky shot and he knocked that kid out. That's his career.
Yep.
He would never live. I mean, what's he done since CM Punk's fight? I have no idea. I haven't followed his career, but like, let's say he lost that fight. That's his career. He might as well pack it in, because he's the guy who lost to CM Punk. It was like when, I don't know how much you know about wrestling, but like, do you know who Bobby Lashley is at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was like when Bobby Lashley started doing MMA a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, people don't know Bobby Lashley. He was a armed forces, like unarmed champion or whatever the hell the title is. He's a legit fucking dude, right? Like he'll kick your ass. And I mean, just looking at him, you're like, ugh, like he'd eat me. But with him, he came into, I think it was Pride. I'm pretty sure is who he fought with. And when he came in, there was a couple dudes who were just talking mad shit, right? Like just, oh, here comes the pro wrestler. Oh man, oh no. Like, let's show what a real sport's like, you know, and which in itself is an oxymoron, but whatever. We're not going to get into that. And the guy, when he came out to fight Bobby Lashley, he had like a mask on and a cape, and he was being a dick. Like he wasn't being it in like a fun way, like how Conor McGregor would do it. He was like being really disrespectful, and Bobby's just standing there, just like, he knocked him out in like 3 seconds. The guy, he just boom. That was it. That was the fight. And then Bobby never lost a fight. And everyone was like, oh. Like, and guess what? No one talks shit anymore.
Yep.
No, and hell, biggest stars in NFC history, arguably, depending on who you ask, is Brock. And guess what? Brock Lesnar was a pro wrestling guy. He also was a legitimate amateur wrestler and stuff, but like, Brock Lesnar's a pro wrestling guy. So to see him go in, and I know his career ended in controversy and drugs and so forth, but regardless of that fact, he's still Brock Lesnar. So
True.
I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this tangent at this point, but like at the end of the day, Conor McGregor, I think, would be a great asset to the company. Just he would have to be running in the right way and with the right opponent, basically, because not a lot of guys would want to work with him, because he's been very disrespectful to pro wrestling. And I also don't know if he'd be able to do it. And that's always the fun thing for pro wrestlers and stuff. Like anytime someone from another sport comes in and like tries to do it, they're like, oh, I'll come do this fake shit. And then they can't even get through the training. And I'm like, it's not for everyone, man. Just because you can punch people in the face doesn't mean you can throw yourself on a mat 100 times. Like, it's very different.
Exactly. What do you think about like all that YouTuber boxing shit? Because it's like Jake Paul just announced a fight.
Dumbest
and,
shit
like,
I've ever
Logan's
seen.
fighting
I can't believe it's a
Mayweather,
thing.
and
I can't believe this is a thing. I just it infuriates me that people think this is not for me, not my cup of tea.
I will say Jake Paul is good at talking shit though.
And from what I've seen, hasn't he like won some fights too? Like
He's not well, yeah, but he only
against other
fought,
YouTube
like,
boxers, right?
Yeah, he fought. he
Which
had an amateur
I'm sure they could
fight.
kick my ass.
Oh,
So
for sure.
whatever. But
Me too. But like he had an amateur fight in which he won by, I don't know if he won by knockout, but like he won it. Then his first professional fight, he got a first round knockout.
so like maybe I shouldn't talk shit. I should
But his
watch
professional
it, but,
career, he's fought a YouTuber and an NBA star who
so
won a slam dunk contest.
So let's see. I mean, he's fuck. Mayweather's probably going to toy with him. Like he's going to make some money. Like, come on.
Oh
like,
yeah, no. Well,
Mayweather's doing it because he wants to make money.
Well,
Like,
that's the only reason. And it's a super exhibition with Logan. Like Jake is fighting some. They just announced this. Jake is fighting some sort of MMA champion guy, Ben something. I forget his last name. Oh, Ben Askren. He's fighting Ben Askren
okay.
for a boxing match. And then
But
Logan's
it's not
fighting
MMA.
Mayweather, which got delayed until God knows when.
When Logan can, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, he's not going to beat him.
Well, no,
Like,
Mayweather's too quick. Logan's not going to hit Mayweather.
Yeah. For God's sakes, look what he did to freaking McGregor. Like,
Exactly.
I thought McGregor stood a chance. I really did. I was like, because like he can do some like a little bit of like handwork, right? I was like, McGregor, like he probably stands a chance, and it was embarrassing to watch. But
Oh, of course. But you're watching a master versus an amateur. Like,
you know, and people are like, oh, they were in the octagon. That's completely like,
it's a different sport.
yeah. Whether is not a. I mean, with training, he probably could have been a great fighter, but like that's not his thing, right?
No.
Boxing takes a whole different type of finesse, and it also hurts a lot more, by the way, being punched in the face by a boxing glove than an MMA glove. Let's just, if you guys have never been punched in the face by both, as someone who has, it's not fun. Like only once, mind you, but like
It was enough.
getting hit with those boxing gloves, I was like, oh, this isn't gonna hurt. Boom, and I went, okay, it hurt. It's not fun.
And the thing is, and it's an interesting to point out with the Logan Mayweather fight, is that it is going to be a 50-pound difference.
Mhm.
And Logan's a lot bigger than Mayweather.
He's a big dude too. Like I didn't realize how big him and
it's that one point you brought up earlier, which anyone could knock out anyone. If Logan Paul knocked out Floyd Mayweather, it would be I'm tempted. I'm so tempted to put money on Logan. I'm so tempted.
It's just if he does.
If he does, if on the off chance he does, and Mayweather makes a wrong step and Logan gets a solid punch in.
It's all because it's not like Mayweather's not known for someone who can withstand knockouts, correct? If I'm not like he's fast and he's one of the fastest, most talented boxers in the world.
He's a defensive boxer.
Yeah, he's not like so is he known as someone who see again, I don't fucking nothing about boxing,
he's known as someone that likes to drag out the fight and go for the point.
Because he has endurance and he has speed.
Yes. He wants to wean someone out, which is what the issue was with Conor, because Conor has a small gas tank, right? Like Conor comes out aggressive in the first round or two, but then you start weaning off, and that's what happened in the fight with Poirier, in which Conor got gassed out way earlier than anyone expected, and Poirier took advantage of that, and especially with those calf kicks.
Yeah, for sure. And like the basics of any type of fight like that. If you can outlast your opponent with your endurance, you know that you're gonna win, because as long as you don't get knocked unconscious, eventually you're gonna win because that person's gonna be gassed. Like that's why a lot of pro wrestlers who get into the MMA world, that's why a lot of them do well, because their endurance is better than almost any other someone who's athletic competition, because it has to be, because they're like, hey, I can't go sit on a bench if I'm doing this for an hour. I have no choice. I have to keep going because it's a performance as well, right? So but did you ever see there's a video going around of Conor McGregor and The Mountain? You know who The Mountain is?
Yeah.
It was a video of them, and they were like sparring with like no gloves or anything, and like somewhere. And it was really to watch. It gave me a whole new respect for her, because like, I mean, if The Mountain had gotten a hold of him, but he couldn't even get a hold of him. So like he's a very.
But the thing is, Conor is also pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's literally like having a rabbit fight a literal mountain. Like the mountain's not going to catch a rabbit.
I mean, he did catch him a couple times. I'm not like, if you should really check it out. Cause it's
Yeah, I'm
like,
gonna
it's
check
pretty
it out
interesting
after
to
this.
watch because he gives him a couple smacks. That's like, oh shit. Like, but, and that was like right at the height of Connor's, like he was like the 2 belts and he was, you know, doing this shit.
The swag
walking
walking.
around. Yeah. But, back to the YouTube boxing thing. Like, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm probably going to watch the fight after it happens because I'm just really curious to see how it goes. Because I did watch the McGregor Mayweather fight just because, like, I watched it after the fact. Like, just because I was like, you know what? It's an interesting piece of history because, like, you know, Floyd Mayweather is someone who, like, he's going to go down as, I mean, only behind maybe Muhammad Ali and, like, a couple other guys maybe. But, like, he's definitely going to be, like, that top 5 conversation as far as, boxing of all time. He's definitely made the most money.
Well,
like he has
Floyd Mayweather around.
Yeah. It's not just a nickname, folks. He's got the money,
yeah.
but it's going to be interesting. I mean, who knows, man? Maybe Logan Paul.
It would be the biggest upset, but it would be, especially for the boxing purists. Oh, they get so butthurt.
What if, and this is really unpopular to say, but like, what if Mayweather takes a dive?
He won't.
Wouldn't like,
no
like let's say they're like, hey man, we're gonna give you all this money. Take a dive.
But it would be, I think it would be obvious if Mayweather took a dive. Like the only way people would actually believe it is people see the punch. And that's the thing also with Jake Paul and the Nate Robinson fight, because Jake Paul gave Nate Robinson a good short distance punch, and Jake Paul has some power. So I'm very curious how that.
He's a big dude. I didn't realize how
Jake
big
Paul's
Jake
a very
Paul
big dude
was,
as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's all fucked. I mean, hey, get your money, boys. That's all I got.
My whole thing is like, I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand how people can think. I mean, I never liked their content to begin with, to be honest. So like, I never understood it, but whatever works, you know.
The thing with YouTubers, and it's something that I've observed, especially over the past like 5-ish years. The thing with YouTubers is YouTubers are like, they're good at like a bunch of different things, but they don't particularly excel at certain things.
Yeah.
Like they're all kind of like, yeah, it's good. Like music, okay. Fighting, okay. Other shit they want to do, okay. Like no, like I can't really think of a YouTuber that's like amazingly good at fighting. Like Logan's okay. Jake is good. Like Jake has some promise, but he's not going to pursue it as a career.
Definitely, I think better out of the two of them from seeing it.
Oh yeah, well, because Jake's doing more fights and Jake's getting that experience under his belt. Logan's only done one professional fight in which he lost.
Mm-hmm. So I'm really surprised Mayweather said he'd do it.
Money.
I really am.
It's
well,
money.
that's it. Like I get that, but it's like, man, like I don't know. I don't know. It's the whole thing is so weird to me. I just don't get it. Like there's stuff these guys could do, but the kind of money too. Like with, I mean, I always say to guys, you know, look in the like, because I'm like, you could someone like a Logan or Jake Paul in the WWE for a couple months. Whew.
Oh yeah, that'd be banks.
They don't have to do anything. Just show up and talk, and then have them get their ass kicked by a good guy, and then everyone goes home happy. You know?
I'm sure Jake Paul's thought about it.
Yeah, he should, because I think that would be he'd be.
Did you see the video
natural.
of him talking shit to McGregor?
No, actually, I didn't.
No, well, because because I just can't believe I actually am going to say this. Jake Paul called out Conor McGregor for a fight and offered him $50 million.
That's crazy.
Why would you? No.
I want to see that more. I want to see him get in the octagon with McGregor and just watch him.
That's never gonna
eat him. Just
Jake
smack
Paul's
him around.
never gonna get in the octagon. No chance in hell.
I would love to see that happen because, like,
Be
I've often
destroyed.
thought about like, because I do know, in the past mostly, I knew a couple guys who like were training a little bit of like MMA and stuff like that, and I always wanted to be like, guys, get in there with you for like a few seconds. And just like kick me a little bit, like throw me around a little bit, just to like see what it actually feels like. So when I can have a more of a respect for it.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the thing with me, and that's why MMA and stuff like that. I never like really connected with it because I'm just like, I understand that it's impressive and it's combat sports, and I understand all that. I do, and I respect it. But I'm just like, I don't find it as entertaining. The stuff I like about it no one likes about it, which is when they're like on the ground and they're in like a hold or something like that. Like I love that shit. That's what I like, because I'm like, to me, that's the true skill. Like if you're in there with someone who is a great wrestler and you on the mat, you in a armbar or a hold or something, someone who all you can do is stand up and fight, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna choke you. Like you're done, because you can't just come in just, you know, oh, I'm gonna punch this guy in the face. If he rips your socket, then you're screwed. Just, it's not that they do that, obviously, but that's the kind of like, but like for me, it's like same thing with boxing. Like that's why, like when a buddy of mine and I found a couple of boxing gloves, I was like, yo, punch me in the face with it. Like, it's just, I need to know how this feels. Like, just don't try and knock me out, but just like, come on, give me a little shot ski. And, you know, I was like, okay, I have more respect for boxing now, because my dumb friend who weighs 90 pounds hit me in the face with a boxing glove and it hurt. So I'm like, you know, I can only imagine how it feels getting hit in the face by a 200-pound guy who knows what they're doing. Like, you know, it's, but yeah, it's, I don't know, man. It's interesting. Like I'm gonna pay attention to what they're doing just a little bit. I mean, it pops on my feed all the time, anyway, so I'm gonna know what's happening. But I'm really curious to see, especially his fight with Mayweather. I'm really curious to see, because like he's not gonna win, but like
No.
I don't know, man.
But on that small chance he does,
can you imagine, like, just
how much money you could make if you bet?
I mean, the thing is and the thing is like Mayweather, like that's why I think like sometimes boxing is fixed, because I'm like, at least exhibition fights like that, because I'm like, can you imagine if Mayweather lost?
Oh,
like
devastation.
I mean, his entire legacy, poof. He might as well just erase himself in the history books. Because
there'd
no
be
matter
a rematch
what he's
pretty
done,
fucking quick.
Yeah, no matter what he has done up to that point, he lost to a YouTuber. So, and he could do a rematch and go in and just beat the shit out of him, and it wouldn't matter.
Still lost.
He could go fight Satan himself, but like, Satan, I'm calling you out, and then knock Satan unconscious. Wouldn't matter. He lost to a YouTuber.
Yeah.
No matter, it doesn't matter. Like Logan could be training for 10, 15 years. Doesn't matter.
No.
He's a YouTuber. And if Mayweather loses to a YouTuber, sure, he'll have all the money he'll ever need, but he strikes me as someone who, like, he likes his money, obviously, but at the same time, like, he has a legacy, and he has to, I'm sure he's proud of his legacy, or else he wouldn't be doing it. But at the same time, just, I don't know. I can't believe that he would go into a fight like this going like, oh, like, you can be confident as hell. It doesn't matter. One little shot. That's all it needs. So I don't know. It's, I mean, he's not going to win, but just, it's interesting.
I gotta look up what the odds were on the fight, because last time I looked, I think it was like 5,000 to 1 or something like that for Logan.
That
like
1%, that one chance.
It was something ridiculous. Logan Paul Mayweather bet.
I'd be curious too.
All right. Has to be something fucking ridiculous. Scrolling down.
I'm surprised it's not more than that, to be honest with you.
Right. Okay, so most recently, odds on Mayweather are okay. So 1,400.
Really, 1,400 to 1?
Yeah, like it's 1,400. So like it's an implied probability of like 93.33%.
Okay, but there's that 7% chance.
Yeah, Logan Paul's plus 750. So okay. So yeah, definitely tempted to put money on.
Just like, can you imagine? Say you put like $100 on it, right? Like, can you imagine? Oh my man!
I'd be like, thanks, Logan Paul, for making me a bunch of money.
Yeah, and thanks Mayweather for losing. Like, I said Mayweather a gift basket or something. I'm like, hey, man,
yeah, I'll send him a fucking fruit basket with my money I just won. No, it's so
Put like
I
a
don't know, man.
1,000 on it, right?
I that's the thing though. When I look at these YouTubers doing this shit, I'm just kind of like, it seems like it started as a trend, and it's kind of fallen off
it
now
seems
because.
to, yeah.
But now it's like there's a couple guys still do like the Paul brothers are still in the fighting shit. No one else is really fighting in the YouTube world, from what I've seen.
Well, there's a couple guys who are, because I see it. Like the dude I was talking about earlier, he does still cover it, so I do see it. But you're not going to see that in the podcast world. We're not going to start boxing each other. I mean, unless
Money.
unless you start talking shit, bro. Then no.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
I've actually
Matt,
thought-
listen you out, man. You in the octagon, $10.
$10.
You beat me, I'll give you 50. Fight only.
No joke.
Only a hugging fight. That's
Hugging fight only. It's gonna be one of those like no. What are the giant like blow up?
Yes,
the sock 'em things. Yeah, it'd be that.
Matthew Lane versus TJ Hodder in the fight of the century.
I think I was gonna go into like actually start like doing boxing classes, like start doing a bit of training in boxing, like mainly for fitness and also just to have a better understanding.
It's great fitness.
And then maybe if I got to a point where I felt confident enough, I'd try an amateur fight, maybe
just to see how it goes.
My girlfriend just groaned in the background when I said that. She doesn't want me to fight. But no, I've thought about it because like I don't know.
Because my girl would do the exact same thing. If I was like, "Hey, babe, like I think I'm gonna,"
yeah, exactly. Just I don't know. I thought about it, but she probably would drag me out of the fucking ring. She'd be like a mother coming in, like grab me by my ear and pull me out.
We already talked about this.
We've already talked about this. I said no. Yes, dear.
You're not. Why do you want to get in the ring and be punched in the face a bunch? Why? Why you want to do this?
Because why not?
Let's go home. I'll put on some oven mitts and like. I don't know, man. That's funny though.
All right, so we're gonna take our final music break right now, and then we're gonna come back and wrap this up and talk some more shit. All right, we'll see you guys in a few. All right, welcome back from the music break. Thank you to Anchor once again for sponsoring the podcast. TJ and I were just planning our future combat event, in which we will reveal down the line.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna wipe the floor with me.
We were talking about the concept of like people shit talking, and it's like we both agree that the best shit talking is when you shit talk yourself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose so bad.
You're not gonna be able to beat. You're not gonna get beat because I'm gonna get beat. Everyone's gonna be able to beat me. Like
basically, it's who's gonna take a dive first. That's the competition.
we both dive off at the same time.
And go.
Ring the bell. Dive. Like literally take a dive, and it's just like, guys, are you serious?
Yes.
Referee comes in. Come on, guys. Seriously, come on.
No.
Oh no, I've been defeated.
Oh no, I've McFallen.
You son of a bitch. So I just choked a little bit.
It's so good.
I have McFallen.
I've McFallen.
Someone bring me a Diet Coke.
Oh,
Funny.
man, where do you think the world's gonna go from here? Because like speaking on like, you know, we haven't talked about the fun global pandemic topic this episode yet, and I kind of want to touch on it briefly. Where it's like, I know the rollout for the vaccines is happening, but like I think I read somewhere online or like Ontario, the general population is not going to get until like August or some shit.
The longest, yeah.
Like where do you think we're going to go from here? Because like we're in January right now. If that's the case for vaccines, then that sounds like summer concert season is going to be fucked.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard because there's also a huge part of the population that like they're going to fight getting a vaccine. They're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, straight up. I mean, I might have to get the vaccine. I might not have a choice if my work's like, because I can work at the school, right? So if they're like, hey, all staff has to be vaccinated, guess what? Whether I want to or not, I have to. And it's not me saying I'm an anti-vax or anything. It's just, I always have a reaction. Like anytime I get a flu shot, I always have a bad reaction. For whatever reason, my body doesn't like getting the flu shot. So I'm like, am I going to have a bad reaction to this too? Not saying it's poison and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, if I have a bad reaction to the flu shot, every time I get it, like what's going to happen when I get this?
The odds are not great.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have a reaction. So it's like, you know, I think I try to be an optimistic person, right? I really try. And I think I'm hoping somehow cases right now, at least in Ontario, they're still kind of going this way a little bit. They're going down.
We're declining a bit.
So July, August, maybe we can get things open up enough that we could like maybe have some outdoor concerts or something, or some drive-through stuff again or whatever. You know,
the drive-in things.
I want to get my thing as much as I want music to come back. I also want small businesses to be able to open back up because it's getting ridiculous. And like, then hopefully, I don't know, I'm optimistic for this year, but like worst case, like late year, early next year, we have tours planned for early next year. We open everything back up later this year. And then 2022, we just
hammer it.
Just go. Let's go to every concert. Yeah, just give her, bud. Like that's what I think realistically we're going to see happen. I don't think we're going to see any tours or stuff this year, even if the vaccine rollout happens sooner than we think. I still think so many people are going to, because those first few bands that go on tour, the reality is they might not do so great because there's still going to be people that even with a vaccine and stuff, like they're going to still be scared to go to concerts and stuff, right? Like they're going to, do I want to go stand next to a bunch of people I don't know? And then what are they going to do at concerts? Are they going to take people's temperatures? Are they going to, take their information down on a sheet of paper?
I think it's probably going to be some sort of like digital passport thing.
Probably.
Where it's like this person, like you have something on your phone that says this person has been vaccinated or some shit like that. Like that's the only thing I can really think of that would work. And then like maybe temperature checks, or they could implement some sort of version of the rapid testing in which it's cost effective, but you can test people.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing too. I wouldn't against like doing a rapid testing or whatever. Cause like, I don't care. Like, I'm just like, something, oh, that's a total violation of my rights and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like,
That's cool.
I'm like, listen, like, do I think I should have something stuck on my nose every time I want to go to a concert? No. But guess what? If it can happen so that we can have it happen sooner than later, I'm for it. If I have to carry around a thing that says I've been vaccinated so that I can get into concerts and stuff like that, I'm okay with that, at least for a little while. I don't want to do it forever, but reality is, regardless of the vaccine and all that stuff, we're probably going to see masks become a part of our culture now. That's one thing that I think is for people who are like, oh, I can't wait till I don't have to wear masks anymore. I'm like, buckle in, child, because it's probably going to be a few years before that's done. Like, not saying they're going to be mandatory, but just like
They're going to be more common.
people are going to be walking around with masks all the time. They'll probably be not surgical masks, but they'll be like a cloth mask or something. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say what exactly is going to happen. Obviously, I mean, I'm just a podcaster, but like,
But it's
I
fun
think,
to guess.
yeah, I think that's what we're going to see happen. I really do. I'm optimistic. I want to do a little tiny bit of traveling. Mostly, I just want to go to the States for a couple cool things, mainly with this company right here.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, I want to be able to do that this year, like later this year. So I'm like, can we like move this along? Like, could everyone just cooperate for like a month so we can get our life back and not worry about how the government's secretly taking away our rights because they're going to launch 5G and it's going to give us all microchips and that they're going to secretly make a giant deep dish pizza. Like, can we just avoid all of this and shut back to life? I don't know about you guys, but I'm over it. So, but what do I know? I'm not listening to the people who are like, oh, well, this.
So you cut out like the past like 15 seconds, just so you know.
Okay. Awesome.
It was
Guys,
a
my
hilarious thing to watch, though. It was
internet was terrible. So bad.
Oh.
What I was saying was just there's all these idiots that are like, I've heard some conspiracy theory. I bet the best one is that this is all because they're trying to secretly microchip us so that they can set off this thing because they're making a giant deep dish pizza or whatever. I've heard some pretty interesting things, man.
Is it like what kind of deep dish pizza?
I have no
Like,
idea. I haven't been,
sounds intriguing. Like I might be
like
down
I
for
would
that.
be a part of a deep dish pizza. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
Like,
pizza's
I'm
pretty
for
great.
it.
Like if
Yeah.
that's the way I gotta go, that's the way I gotta go.
Yeah, I'll be a pet topping on a deep dish pizza. Like, come on.
Honestly, that'd be the way I want to go.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look, like, all I'm going to say is this: everyone always worried about everyone who's like, oh, the vaccine's a microchip.
Cool.
You're not that interesting. The microchip.
Yeah.
Why do they
what
care?
about you? Do you want to be? What about you makes you the prime target to be microchip?
You see this right here?
Yeah.
This thing I'm holding, folks, a cell phone. This is a smartphone. If the government really wants to know what you're doing and they care that much about you because you're such an interesting person, they already know. Shut up. I want concerts back. I want to be able to go to wrestling shows. I want to be able to hug people. I want to be able to go see people.
Yeah,
So
legit.
it's all just chill out, have a beer, do a chat with me. We'll be fine.
Perfect. But I don't know, man. It's just with everything going on, like everyone's like getting more mad at. I swear to God, people are getting more mad at Ford every single day.
Poor guy.
Listen, he's trying his best. That's what counts.
My friend was like, oh shit. Just, dude, there's no right answer. Anything. Anyone who says otherwise, I'm sorry, but you're not in that position. You don't know. Like, and it's hard because like I work for the school board. And do I think schools should be open?
Mm-hmm.
But if they're not open, then I'm out of a job. So it's like, and while I'm there, I'm doing everything in my power to make sure we have only had one COVID case. We're one of the only schools in the board that's only had one to my knowledge. So I'm like, I'm happy with that. But should they be open? I don't know. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's what do you do? There's no right answers. There's no one really knows no one really knows the right answers. So all we can do is just try and stick together, try and stay sane. And I don't know, man, that's all we can really do. And try and stay positive.
And not COVID positive, But
yes, not COVID positive.
the thing is with the school boards especially, and just with schools in general, a lot of these schools are either like really old buildings in which they can't afford in their budgets, they can't afford to implement certain changes in order to make COVID safe, because doing the things you need to do to make COVID safe, whether it be new kinds of ventilation, desk separators, like plastic screens on every like I don't know, all the things you would have to do that, create additional bus routes to space kids out so they can socially distance. It's like that's not financially feasible at this current point, especially with the way that everything's going.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just like you have to, and that's the thing, they're literally taking it day by day at this point, as we all are, because
honestly.
we don't know what the fuck's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, thankfully in the States things are calmed down a bit now, so
for now
but
depending on who you ask, things are calmed down, by the way.
There's not a Cheeto in office, so it's fine. But
well, listen, the Cheeto was saving America, so
yeah, really saving it with that raid on Capitol Hill. That was a real fucking
anyway,
real moment. Real moment of saving.
A part of our heritage.
Yeah, something like that. That's the thing. I'm so curious because all that crazy shit was happening in the US. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was at work. I'm like, do you think there's a chance that like we're gonna have to deal with some sort of like a Canadian reality star, like kind of equivalent to Trump being prime minister? Or are Canadians like
who would
not gonna buy that shit?
Yeah, I don't think I don't know, man. There's a lot of Canadians that I've been seeing that they seem to agree with what Trump's doing, so I'm like, oh, maybe.
Who would the Canadian celebrity be? Like, who is the Canadian equivalent to Trump? That's a tough question.
I don't know. I can't think of anyone.
I know. That's the thing.
Who's a Canadian reality star? I can't even think of a Canadian reality star right now.
Well, how many Canadian reality shows are there?
Yeah, there's not that many. Welcome back to Moose Talk with Maple Syrup Farmers.
I feel like a lot of people don't like Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah, he's probably as close as I could think of with Kevin.
Yeah, but like he's not as anywhere near Trump.
Like he's very intelligent.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I can't sit here and say that Trump's not smart. Trump is very smart with certain things. He has to be. But was he smart enough to be president of the United States? Who knows?
Who is?
It's beside the point.
You need to be a fucking psychopath for that job.
Yeah. Like I think Joe Rogan said it best. He said it 100 times where he's like, why the hell is one person in charge of everybody? Like,
yeah, that makes no sense.
It's a stupid old thing that shouldn't be around anymore. You know, I don't know. It's crazy to think about.
I don't know. It's so fucked because it's like who I just
popularity contest to decide who, and you're between two people. Look who won this year. Like I mean, I think the one before was worse, but like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a huge Joe Biden fan. Like, you know, he's had some pretty sketchy shit in the past, but like, it's just like, what do you do when you're either left or you're right? Well, what if I'm somewhere in the middle? Then what do we do, right? Like, I don't know. It's crazy, man. I don't want to talk too much about it because like I'll start spewing a bunch of bullshit, but like, it's just like, what do you do when you're that person who's in the middle? You're that person who's just like, hey man, racism is wrong. But I like to go to a gun range and shoot guns.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to shoot anybody, but
you just want to shoot guns.
I would like to have a weapon for home defense.
Mm-hmm.
I want a little pistol. That's all I want. I'm good with that. I don't need a fucking
AR-15.
And yeah. Like, so I'm like, what do those people do? Like, when Trump's an idiot, you think Biden's crazy. So what do you do?
The thing is, a majority of people are like more in the middle or like leaning a certain direction. Like most people are kind of in that center bubble. Like there's only a small percentage that are like the true left or the true right. Like
true, like crazy left and crazy right.
Exactly. Like the majority of people are kind of just sitting here going, what's the lesser of two evils?
Basically. And this time Joe Biden was the lesser of two evils. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's crazy and it's weird. And I don't know. It's crazy. I think that all politicians on the right are all crazy and they're all
Well,
You can't be sane and normal to do that job.
Well,
because
because you have a desire for power. You have a desire for control.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes you crazy. Like, and that's the other thing also, like with the pandemic, like something like this, no one saw what this is coming. And we're about to cross a year in a few months. And it's still going to be shit. Like the federal government just extended the state of emergency until beginning of May or beginning of February. And then we're going to move probably another 2 weeks and another 2 weeks until whatever happens.
Take it day by day.
Exactly. That's all we can do. And it's like, but it also brings up, because Trump was president, it also brings up the interesting concept that anyone could be president. You don't need a political resume. And I'd like to let everyone know that I am running for president.
Yes. Can I be your what's the vice president?
Yeah, there's no vice president of Canada, is there?
Oh, I thought you said you're going to run for president. You're going to run for prime minister. Okay. Yeah,
you can be the attorney general.
Sweet. I'll be your I'll run for I'm not gonna lie, there was a minute there I was thinking about running for like a local office or whatever, because I was just like so fed up the one day.
You couldn't pay me to run for local office.
I'll be prime, I'll work up to prime minister, we'll be fine. We'll be all right. We need someone like me in there. And they're like, why you? I'm like, because I'm not smart enough to do the job, and I'm well aware of that. So I'd be like, all right, guys, here's this group of people over here. These are my people. I trust these people.
Mm-hmm.
These people are really smart. All of these people are coming to me with ideas, and I'm going to go.
Smart people.
The dumb person say yes or no. And then I'm going to go on television and be like, my friends, words. And then like
words.
It'll be fine.
Here's the smart person.
I'll have a good haircut, it'll be fine. We'll be fine. And like I'll come out of my cottage and I'll be like, my friends, we'll be fine. But like that's why I'm convinced the only person who's gonna be able to be president of the United States properly is The Rock. 100% convinced. Because listen, let's say Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, runs for president. He'll win. He'll win.
He'd win, but
he said he won't. He already said he won't. Yeah,
he
said he wouldn't. But then again, Donald Trump also said years ago he wouldn't. So
I don't know. I highly.
Let's say The Rock wins, right? The Rock's not going to make decisions like that. The Rock is a smart enough individual where he would be like, "All right, guys, here's my people. They're going to come to me with ideas, and I'm going to go. That makes sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense." Like, I don't know. I think
basically what I would do is if I would go on the TV and like, or go on media or whatever and just talk to people, essentially I'd walk out, ladies and gentlemen, and then I pass it off, and essentially it's gonna be the equivalent of, anyway, here's Wonderwall, and then just walk away. That's all I would do. I wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, here are the smart people. Let them talk.
My fellow Canadians, here are the smart people.
Yeah, that's it. Here are the smart people.
Here are the people who actually know what's going on. Like, it's like that one dude who he's one of the health ministers or whatever. He didn't realize his mic was on. Did you see this?
Oh, no.
And he was looking at his sheet, and he said to the girl he was talking to, who was texting him, he's like, I don't know what any of this is anyway. I don't know what any of this means. I just read it. I was like,
I don't know what any of this is.
I don't know what any of this means. I just read the fine points. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm the same. My team gets this together and then I read it. I'm like, I mean, I knew that.
Imagine we had that level of transparency, like when they're actually like talking.
Yes.
That would be so good.
Idea.
I would trust the government way more if they were talking like that.
Yes. Just be like, hey guys, I have no idea what I'm doing. However, I got these people over here. They know what they're smart doing. This is John. John's really smart, but he's afraid of public speaking.
So I'm going to talk for him.
So I'm going to talk for John. I am the Prime Minister of Canada in title only.
Like, I am the puppet, and here are the people holding the strings.
Here are the puppeteers. I'll just like have them have strings to me. It'd be fine. We'd be honest. Like, all right, guys, listen, shit's fucked. Like, just that's what Ford needs to do.
I feel like Ford could pull that off. Just, my fellow Ontarians, shit's fucked. Like, anyway, here's Wonderwall. And it just walks off.
Like, just have him come on, look right at the camera, some dry ice behind him. He just comes up and he's just
some 80s synth playing in the background. Hit the joint.
Flicks it, just my fellow Ontarians, shit's fucked. Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Yeah, perfect.
And he seriously just says, "Listen, I'm sick of it. Here's what we're gonna do. Y'all don't like it, go somewhere else. Like,
Stay the fuck home.
Yeah, stay the fuck home. Listen."
I feel like if Doug Ford came on TV and said, "Listen, stay the fuck home," more people would stay home.
And more people, I would trust him more.
Yeah, I would.
Like, I don't know. He won me over a little bit there when he started wearing that T-shirt mid last year, the Conquer COVID, because like people were doing these things where it was like him coming out to Stone Cold Steve Austin's music, and I was like, yes, I was like, yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's shit's fucked. I hope we bring the nose up and we'll just keep plugging away and keep trying to be positive, man. I try really hard to be, as much as it may not sound like I am because of the jokes I've been making and stuff, but it's like, I'm trying to be positive. You know, I really am trying to be positive. I'm trying to be safe. I'm trying to do everything I can to keep myself safe and then thus also keeping other people safe. You know, I'm working hard at my job to keep people safe. You know, it's just we got to do what we can. And each one of us has the power to affect ourselves and the people within our circle and our bubble. So as long as we do that, we'll be fine. We just gotta keep on keeping on.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
and now here's Wonderwall. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Perfect. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. And we're gonna do something later today, but you guys don't know when that is and when it will come out, neither do I. So TJ, where can people find you and what you're doing?
Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, The Hodder Show, as well as check my podcast, The Hodder Show, wherever you find your podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, whatever. YouTube, I'm doing more video stuff now. 5th year anniversary special, definitely well worth the watch. Check it out. I really appreciate it. It is something very, very special to me. And if you have a beard, need some beard care, check out meanbeardco.com. Check it out, or join the Facebook community on the old Facebook Mean community. I'll bring you in and we'll have some fun, have some chats. Matt, thank you very much, my friend. It was always a pleasure. I appreciate you having me on once again, man.
Of course, anytime, my dude. All right, guys, I'll see you back here next week for a new episode. Take it easy. Peace.